Hi there and welcome to the Barbara Young channel. Now a few weeks ago I went to one of the local charity shops and I found a couple of patterns there. Namely this one, which is a Woman's Weekly one, which is a magazine, and this one which is from the Cut Above collection, and it's a batwing dress. And well, they're quite interesting, something different. I went back about a week later and I found these two patterns. This one again from the Cut Above collection, and this one is a crossover dress, and this one is a square collared dress. So what I thought is I would have a look at all of these patterns and see what I've got, because I mean they're not new, and I don't know what state they're in. This one's definitely been opened, absolutely for sure. So let's have a look at them and see what I've got. So let's start with these three, because these three I think are really quite interesting. They're it's called the Cut Above collection, and I can't really see much about them. I had a little look online, see if I could find any info. What I did see is that there seem to be a few people selling these, but as a set of 4. So I presume there must be 4 to this particular grouping. I presume they must have done a lot more patterns, but I don't know. I've only got these 3, but they do seem to run in order. Quick look on the back, and this says part 1, part 2 and part 3. So perhaps if there is a set of 4, it's part 4, so it's maybe 4 in the set. But very interestingly different to anything I've seen before. So first one we've got is this batwing dress. Looks, yeah, like a big long batwing dress. It's, I like the artwork on there. You know, there's no models on there, it's someone's artistic impression. The second one is a crossover dress, which I actually really quite like this one. Don't know how easy or hard that will be to make. And then the last one being a square collar dress. Now this is a little odd. I'm not sure I like that, but yeah, there you go. But yeah, 3 patterns, all very much the same sort of thing. Now I did wonder how old these were, and I had a look and I tried to find a date for them, because this artwork, as you can see, it screams 1980s. Now I couldn't see a date initially, but then when I looked more carefully on the back here, there's a Roman numeral coding that they've used for the date, as they always used to, and it is, if I've read it right, 1986, which is smack in the middle of the 80s, and this is definitely 80s. That is, there's no two ways about it. This stuff screams 80s. So yeah, with the hairstyles and the accessories, the length of the dresses, I just think, yeah, that is 100% of the 80s. I do remember the 80s. Teenager back then, but that is the 80s. The other pattern I will have a look at quite soon, but this is from a Woman's Weekly. Now this one doesn't have any date on it. I imagine it was obviously with the magazine. This one has definitely been well used, but I'll have a look at that afterwards. These 3 don't look like they've been opened or have been used. They look very much like they were just never had anything done to them. Now I've had a look at the sizing on the back, and these go from 12 to 22. So they're a larger size pattern, but I mean, if I was to try and make one, if everything's there, then for me, normally, most patterns I range anything from 12 to 16 in the size that I normally make, depending on how they're cut. Looks like a lot of material in these, so I imagine there's quite a bit of ease in these. So yeah, so let's open them up and see what I've actually got inside, and hopefully everything's there for these 3. So let's start with pattern 1 with the batwing dress. So it's let's have a quick read at the back, see what it tells me. It says this is a batwing sleeve dress with 3/4 length sleeves gathered into cuff. View 1 has front buttoning, fastening and pleats from dropped waist. View 2 has skirt with unpressed pleats, okay, from elasticated waist and side seam pockets. Side seam pockets, now there's a rarity. Worn with self I'll try that, saying that again. One with self sash. Must get some new teeth. Suggested materials: cotton, crepe, silk, fine wool, wool crepe and synthetics. And the sizing goes up from 12 to 22. So, I mean, not sure if that will show very well on there, but there we go. Some details. So let's open it up and see what I've got inside. Do I have a full pattern and instructions? Well, initially there are instructions. That's good. That's at least a start. And there are apparently 2 pages. Hopefully that's everything. I don't know. I'd have to read through it properly and see if that appears to be everything. Yeah, maybe. And then the pattern itself. Now, looking at this and the way it is folded, I would say that this has never been opened. I don't think it ever has. I'll be surprised if it has been opened previously, but you know what? It does look like pocket. So a quick look on the instructions just to see what it's telling me what I should have. I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces, and I've got here, that's the 8, that's piece 8, 7, that's my smaller pieces, that is 1, and yeah, I think everything is here for this pattern. I don't think anything's ever been done with this. I would say this has never been opened and never been used. Now if the other 2 are in the same condition, it looks like I should have full patterns there. So let's have a look at the next one. Next up is the crossover dress, which I actually quite like the look of this one. If the illustrations are representative of the actual garments, well, I suppose I'll find out before too long. Quick look at the description. Crossover dress with 2 views. Both views have long sleeves with button fastening, centre back zip, button fastening. Okay, centre back zip with straight skirt. View 1 has flounce on front skirt with 2 back darts. View 2 has 2 darts front and back. Both views may be worn with optional sash. Marvellous. So look, it says I can use this, or should make it with crepe, silk, fine wools, wool crepe and synthetics. Okay, marvellous. And the views, the size is from 12 to 22. Do you have some line drawings? So let's actually open this up and see what I've got inside. And hopefully, if it's like the first one, everything's there. So we have the instructions folded in the same sort of slightly lapsadaisy way. Again, it's only that, but does look like it's the whole instructions, and I should have up to 12 pieces on this. Yeah, okay, so the actual pattern itself. Now again, I'm looking at this thinking this looks like it's factory folded, like it's never been opened up. So just gently sort of open this out, and I'm fairly confident that this is the whole pattern. I don't think this has ever been opened again. Everything seems to be there. So I've got a whole pattern. And without going through and absolutely double checking, I feel confident that it's there. So that's the second one, the crossover dress, that seems to be all intact. Next one we move on to is the square collared dress, which is a bit odd looking, I have to admit. So descriptions are: straight dress with 2 back button fastening, has full length sleeves with gathered sleeve head and buttoned cuff. Detachable sailor style collar with tie neck. Marvellous. Materials. Suggestive fabrics, dress and collar. Cotton, crepe, crepe de chine, lightweight wool and viscose. Collar, polyester. Cotton, or a polycotton, as it's really saying. It's like polyester cotton, as you know what I mean. Polycotton's what I mean. Size is 12 to 22 again, and bit of an image of it, I suppose. You can see that. And let's have a look inside and see if it's all there. Get that out. And we have. Ooh. Now here's an interesting one. We have no instructions. So this one, someone's had this open before now, removed the instructions and not put them back. Perhaps they were looking at it thinking, oh, I'll make that. What they've actually done, they've put the instructions inside. I wonder if that's how they're actually meant to be. So this one is actually not opened at all. The other two may have been looked at. And someone's put the instructions in here, which is why they're always looking a bit weird when they're folded. So this one truly has never been opened. I've got 9 pieces, and again it's just 2 sides. Looks fairly simple, I'd like to hope, but I'm looking at it thinking, are all the pieces there? Dress. And then we've got detachable collar, I see. Okay. And the pieces. Now, expecting there to be not as much stuff here because there's, well, even though there's 9 pieces on there, it's, yeah, I don't think this has been opened. Again, it's one where I've got slightly less, but it seems like quite a big piece because I imagine that you've got long pieces for the dress are in one. So yeah, I would say again, what I've got here is a full pattern without anything missing, with the instructions. Luckily, for a moment I was a little bit taken aback by that, but yeah, it seems to be all there. Last up is this pattern from Woman's Weekly, which is a magazine in the UK. And this one says here, special pattern. So is that a special edition one? I'm trying to get the image in there. Again, this looks very much like it's an 80s style. I don't know, there's no date on this that I can see, but it ranges from size 10 to 20. And the writing's a bit hard to see on here because I can't quite make out what fabrics are required or could be used, so I'm not totally sure. I imagine it's going to be heavier fabrics because these do look like dresses and outer garments, trousers as well. So let's take this out, and I know that this has been opened, so let's see what I've got on the inside. A little bit of the top, or is that part of another one? It looks like it's part of another one. I'm not sure. Now, oh my goodness me, this has definitely had some work done. What have we got here? Now this doesn't look like the new look instructions, or is it? Perhaps that's just the way they were always done. Yeah, B999 is on the pack, and that's what I've got in the corner here, B999. So it does appear to be the instructions for this, but I've got like this and this. So let's carefully open this up, and it looks like, my goodness me, I'll need to get the iron on this to find out what I've actually got, because it does seem to be a bit of a mess. I would say that somebody has cut the pattern out, but to what size? Or have they cut it to multi-size. Oh my goodness me. Right. Yeah, so, someone's done some adjusting here, look, because these have got, I presume they must have, wow, this is a bit odd. So I've got tape on here, got this tape in the middle, so I don't know what that quite relates to, but that does seem to be all the sizes, so they've cut the whole thing out at the full sizing, and then obviously choose whichever size you want, but it's a bit mount up really. So I think what I'll need to do to find out if I've got all the pieces with this is to effectively iron the thing gently and have a look to make sure that everything is here. Well, a moment ago I said I was going to give this pattern a bit of an iron just to see what I've got. It's about an hour or so later, because there's quite a bit to it, but I have found that I've got all the pattern pieces. They're all here. It does look that basically like someone has started one of the projects, one of these items from the pack, from this pattern, and then stopped, and that's it. So the rest of it is there, not really cut out at all, but sort of clumped together and bung back in the bag, in the packet, sorry. The issue I do have, even though I've got all the pieces, is that the instructions are numbered, what looks of it, up to page 4. So that's page 4, that's page 3, and I don't have page 1 and 2, which have obviously vanished, which will make it a little bit difficult if I actually want to make one of these garments up. But maybe I might be able to find it online, I don't know, but that is a bit of a drawback. But from, like I say, from what I can see, I do appear to have all the pieces, which is a bonus. Brilliant. I suppose I better get this all folded up nice and neatly now and put back away, because this packet isn't particularly large, is it? Get all that in there. Perhaps that's why it ended in there in the state that it was previously. Who knows? So a quick blast through some vintage patterns, some vintage 80s patterns, and they're quite nice, they're quite good. I do like them, very much like, you know, 80s. Not that we see patterns like this very much these days, or at least I don't. So, you know, it's just something else, something different. I really quite like that one, which is the crossover dress. I think that looks absolutely brilliant. I will give it a go at some point. Not sure when I will give it a go. Not sure when I get time. I've got plenty of other things to be doing. But yeah, all three of them are quite nice in different ways. But there you go. Vintage patterns from the Cut Above collection from 1986. Well, there you go. The other pattern, which is from Woman's Weekly, which is a magazine, as I said before, that we get in the UK. Managed to get that all out and give it a damn good ironing. And what I found is that what we've got is 25 patterns, 25 pattern pieces. So there's a lot in there. And what it actually shows is effectively saying you can do a top, a skirt, a blouse, a dress, a cardigan, a waistcoat, and a pair of trousers, or pants as some people call them. So you've got a whole mix of different stuff in that one packet, which is why it's probably so bulky. But it's not quite so bulky as it was now that I've given it a damn good ironing. As I said, I did see that it looked like someone had started this pattern. Looks like they'd started possibly the dress, because there's a little bit of shortening or something going on there that they've started to do, which will be a little difficult to get around, I think. But I mean, I trace everything out anyway, and all the sizes are there, so I can still trace out and do what I need. The problem being is the instructions. Not having all the instructions is going to be a bit of a hamper. Not a picnic hamper, just to hamper, you know. So it will be a bit of a troublesome one, I imagine, to try and work out what's going on with this and how they all go together. It'll be something that I might have a go at sometime way off in the future, perhaps when I've got a bit more skill and I've had a go at other patterns and I've done the things that I want to get done probably this year. So it's a long time before I'll probably get to this, but I do want to get to it at some point if I can, and have a go at maybe the waistcoat and the top, maybe even have a go at the trousers possibly. I don't know, I haven't decided, but I will come back to this sometime in the future to have a look and see what I can do with. But there you go. Patterns from the past, vintage patterns. Always enjoyable to have a look at, possibly have a go at making. Well, thank you for watching my video. I look forward to seeing my next video. Bye!